The EIDL grant and loan portal is now open for all businesses right today. But will you get screwed if you fill out the application incorrectly? This is LALATE with a Bombshell exclusive. Thanks for tuning in. As always, like and subscribe to this channel and drop your comments below, and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. And please hit that bell on the front of this channel so you get an alert when we have an update about the EIDL loan grant and everything else in between. And today we're going to go off script. This is the EIDL loan video. We're changing course. Normally, as you know, we would answer your questions about the EIDL loan and drop some bombshells, but the bombshell is the application. And for the first time ever, this channel is going to walk you through this application right now. We're going to go page by page with you over the application because I know you are very excited. You want to apply. You may have already applied in the last 5 minutes, but I want you to really watch this video. If you have not applied, I want you to watch this video, watch it carefully, rewatch it if you have questions, drop comments below if you have questions as well. If you've already applied and you immediately see an error in something you've done based upon this video, please call SBA. When this channel was born in April 24th, we came in when you had already applied on the first process of March and April. So we immediately started fixing things that you had made errors with. We hope to get you error-free from day one, which is today. So to recap, the portal has now opened for the EIDL loan and grant for all types of businesses. Let's go to page 1. So you go to SBA.GOV to apply. That is where you apply. Please do not go through an internal link. Go to SBA.GOV. Then you'll click in there and it'll be send you to the Corona funding page. And it says our nation's small businesses are facing unprecedented economic interruption due to coronavirus. On March 22nd, the CARES Act was passed. We are now accepting applications beginning on June 15th for the new economic injury disaster loan. If you have already submitted their applications, they will continue to process them on a first-come, first-served basis. You know, totally untrue, but that's what they're saying. And to learn more about whether you're eligible, if you click on that, it doesn't really send you anywhere. So let's get right to the form. What I've done is I've actually printed out the form. I'm going to go through every single line of the form for you. No one is going to go through this detail for you. I want to make sure you make no mistakes right off the bat. If you have questions, again, drop them below. So this is the streamlined process application. The expiration date is September 30th. I don't know what that means, but let's go right to it. So eligibility entity verification. This is probably the most important item. We're on page 1. It says choose one. So you're only choosing one item. Is the applicant a business with no more than 500 employees? Well, that's a lot of you. Is the application an agricultural enterprise? So if you're agricultural, you need to go to the second one. The third one, is the applicant an individual who operates under a sole proprietorship? Okay, so if you're a sole proprietorship, boy, in all the weeks of this channel, no one has been a lot of people have been sole proprietorships, so that's where you would be. The fourth one, the applicant is a cooperative with no more than 500 employees. We haven't had that. So there's a few more under there, and nonprofit. I think that among the viewers of this channel, there's a very finite few that are nonprofit. You go to the very last one on the on that first line for nonprofit. If you are a sole proprietor, and I want to go over what a sole proprietor means. This is very, very important. It means if you filed a 2019 tax return for your business under your personal Social Security number, that your business appears on your personal return, perhaps as a Schedule C, that it appears under your personal Social Security number, that it appears that you get paid in your personal bank account, that you are a sole proprietor. So you need to go to the line that says applicant is an individual who operates under a sole proprietor. That is the button you click. You got it? Now, if you are an agricultural business, which you can't be an agricultural sole proprietor. Yeah, it sounds a little confusing. If you're an agricultural business, you need to click the second button. Finally, if you are an LLC and a corporation, an Inc., or anything structured like that, you need to go to the first one. Applicant is a business with no more than 500 employees. That is for an Inc. or an LLC or something like that. That means that you file tax returns for that corporation. The corporation files its own tax returns. It files the tax returns under its EIN. It does not file under Social Security number. It means that it files it it has a business banking account under the corporate identity. If you don't have that corporate structure in existence, you cannot apply as of today. If you are solo, you apply as a solo. I know a lot of you have questions about whether you applied before, can you apply again? I'm going to get that in the grant video tonight. This is one, I think, of 4 or 5 videos I'll be doing tonight. EIDL loan, I'm going to be going through this application. The grant one tonight, I'll be answering your questions, which I'm even try to answer some of your questions on this video right away because I know it's going to be a hit. It's going to be a real juggernaut. I may try to do LALATE, and then there'll be a second stimulus check video as well. Okay, so once you get through that section, you're on to page 1, which is page 1 of 3. Yeah, this is actually the second page, but it's the page 1 of filling out the application. So it's going to ask the business information, the business legal name. Boy, this is so important. This was how this channel was found because people mess this line up. The business legal name, it is the legal name. So if you are a sole proprietor, it is your legal name. It is your full name. So if your name is James and your last name is Jeffries, you do not put Jim Jeffries. You put James Jeffries. It is the full business name. It is not the DBA. So don't put in DBA in the first line. If it is the corporation, then you put the corporation name. And boy, I want you to be exactly to the T. When you registered it with your Secretary of State, you had a certain phrasing of it, whether it was all caps, whether it was INC dot, or corporation spelled out, or CORP. It has to be exactly like it's registered. Why? Because if you don't, I will be doing videos from here to Kingdom Come about people whose application was denied because they could not verify it. They literally will not be able to verify you if it's slightly off sometimes. These are very computerized systems. All right, trade name, not so important. It is a required field. So the trade name, if it's your individual name, it's also your individual name. If it's your, if you have a DBA, but it's still under your business, under your personal name, you can put the DBA there. Trade name, if your corp has a trade name, then you put it there. It is not something that's going to make or break you. All right, so next line, the most important one, EIN/SSN for sole proprietorships. So please do not get this one wrong. This is how people found this channel originally. If your application is for sole proprietor, you put in your Social Security number. Your Social Security number. Yours, and don't mess it up. Don't put the wife or the sister or the brother, the uncle and the nephew. Put the right one that's associated with that business, because otherwise they won't be able to verify the ownership of it. The EIN, if that's the EIN if you're applying for the business, you put the EIN of the business. Make sure you got it right. And boy, if you are off one number, you'll get denied, or you'll have a whole nother set of vortexes. Organizational type. So that is when it's asking whether you're an S corporation, a C corp, an LLC. You need to know what that is, and hopefully you do know what it is. Is the applicant a nonprofit? Yes or no? Pretty easy. Is the applicant a franchise? Yes or no? Pretty easy as well. Okay, so here we go. Gross revenues for the 12 months prior to the disaster, January 31st, 2020. This is very important. So the next line is cost of goods sold 12 months prior to the date of disaster. So you know that there's a calculation for the loan amount. Get ready. Because this is going to determine how much loan money you get. It won't determine how much grant money you'll get. It'll determine how much loan money you'll get. So they will take the first line, they'll take the next line, separate them, subtract them, and divide by 2, and that will be your loan amount. So gross revenues for the 12 months prior to the disaster minus cost of goods sold. And if you have service business, it's cost of services sold. It actually doesn't say it, but that's how it's done. Be careful of those numbers, because if you put 0 and 0, you're going to get a nice 0 loan. It's as simple as that. This is the amounts that will calculate your loan. Rental properties. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, and this is the first video. I'm rushing it out because the portal just went live. All right, rental properties, residential, commercial only. Lost rent due to the disaster. I don't recall if I saw this line the last time. Maybe it was there. But this is if you are applying as a real estate entity and you lost income because of the disaster. That's where you put it in. Next one, non-profit or agricultural enterprise cost of operations for the 12 months prior to the date of disaster. So this is for nonprofit and agricultural. This is where the nonprofits and the agricultural's loan amount will derive from. So be careful on this number. Compensation for other sources of revenue for the disaster. Please provide a description of of your compensation other sources. We have never seen how those numbers implicate or impact the loan amount, but it's something to consider. I know I can just predict the question right away. You're going to say, I haven't done my 2019 returns. I can't put the number in. Got to get this done. Got to get this done. Don't wing it. Don't just sort of screw it up and then try to fix it later on. There is really a rush sometimes with some people when they get very excited that something is open and they just sort of rush in the door like it's a sale at Walmart. Do it right the first time. Please do not rush in and mess it up and then hope to fix it later on. That is just not a good thing. Okay, so page 2. So we're on the second page. The first one was the business information. The second one is business owner's information. All right, so this is the structure. It's easy if this is a sole proprietor application because the owner is just you. I mean, if it's not you, you've done it wrong. If the applicant is a business, an incorporation or an LLC, this is where it's more important. So it's going to ask for each indicate proprietor, limited partner or LLC member who owns 20% more interest and general partner or managing partner that owns 20% or more stock. So what does that mean? Okay, so if you are applying as a sole proprietor, it's 100% ownership. It's you. So it's James Jeffries. He owns himself. So it's 100%. That's easy. Okay, so if the applicant is James Jeffries LLC, the question is going to ask who owns 20% or more interest of James Jeffries LLC. It might be 40% himself and 60% for his wife. So he would have to indicate both names. So the first line item is owner number 1. So if you're a sole proprietor, you just put owner number 1. You have no owner number 2. In the case of James Jeffries LLC, there's 2 owners. So the first one will be one of them. First name, last name, mobile number, title or office. Got to get this right. I don't know to the extent to which they double check this, but in some states, the incorporation documents or the annual report, the annual statements, you have to register for corporations and annual statements, it will indicate who the owners are. So don't mess this up either. Make sure it's consistent across the board. It asks for title or owner, like COO, CEO, ownership percentage. So that's where you put in the 40 or 60%. If it's James, for 40% for himself, 60% for his wife, email address. What I would suggest is just using one email address for all the owners. You don't want things going into 15 different locations. I mean, that's just like the reason for me to make 20 more videos. One email address, please. Social Security number. Okay, so each individual's Social Security number. So you don't mess that up. Don't put the same Social Security number for 5 different people. It's one Social Security number per person. Birth date, that's the birth date of that owner and place of birth. Pretty easy information, but don't mess it up. The top line of page 2 may not apply to most of you because I haven't heard a lot of I've not heard a lot of huge, complex corporate structures. But first line is your business owned by a business entity? That's when your business is owned by another business. An example is James Jeffries LLC is owned by James Ventures Incorporated, and James Ventures Incorporated owns 20 different sub-businesses. If you don't have that type of structure, your answer is no. So is the business owned by a business entity? It means that the business, the Inc., is owned by another Inc., or the LLC is owned by another LLC, or the Inc. is owned by an LLC. That's what it's referring to. If you don't have that, it's a no. Then we go to so that's the third page, the business owner information. Finally, the next step is additional information. And these are the grounds to deny your loan. You'll be categorically denied if there's a yes to any of these. In the past year, has a business or owner been convicted of felon connected with a civil riot or disaster? Actually, I take that back. I can't recall. I think these are I'm not quite sure if it's automatic denial, but it really triggers a review. Has the applicant been suspended, disbarred by the federal government for or receiving federal loans or grants, from contracting with the federal government or receiving loans or grants? Are you presently subject to any criminal indictment, arraignment, or other means of formal charges brought in any jurisdiction? Boy, I've been asked this question on a lot of videos. Unfortunately, you need to really know the status of your criminal case, and a lot of you don't. One viewer had really knew his apples and oranges. He knew the status. So it's asking whether you are presently subject to an indictment, a criminal investigation, an arraignment, or have formal charges brought against you. I think this is obvious that a traffic ticket doesn't trigger that. But then the next one is, within the last 5 years, for any felony have you been convicted, pled guilty, non-contender, placed on pretrial diversion, or placed in any version of parole or probation? Don't think you can lie on this question, because they will catch it. That information comes up in a heartbeat. This comes up right away. So don't play games with this. And will you be denied if it is a yes to those? No. They have a character. I'm getting ahead of myself. They have a category called bad character. So they can deny EIDL, a loan, application, or grant based upon bad character. Next, if anyone assists you in completing this application, whether you paid a fee, that person must enter their information below. So if you're not filling it out and you're having your nephew fill it out for you, you put his information. Pretty easy. So that is additional information. Finally, summary. The last page is the summary page. Now, what I'm going to say to you is very, very important, and I hope you stay to the end of this video. As you see, it's not particularly easy to print out each page as you go along. Some printers don't actually print the entire entry of the page. For example, these pages are longer than just a few lines, but when you go to print, it doesn't print the whole page. You yourself know how to memorialize your entries. What I'm going to ask you is the following, plead you do is the following. I want you to somehow get a digital copy of every page before you press submit. So when you're on page 1, before you press submit to the next page, I want you to make a digital copy of what you put in there. There are different ways you can do it. You can print the page to a PDF and save that PDF so the whole page is saved. You can take a screen grab of the page. But please don't print it, because sometimes when you print it, the whole page doesn't print. The reason why I'm saying this is because of the last page. This is Monday. The portal has just gone live, but I'm still dealing with applicants on the March and 3rd and April applications who went to the last page and clicked the button that they want to receive up to a $10,000 grant, and SBA said they never clicked it. And there's nothing to verify whether they clicked it or not. The screen grab or the PDF copy is the best indication of what you submitted. So I want you to copy every page before you go to the next page. And don't just skip to the very last page and then think that you can copy all the prior pages. It doesn't work that way. You have to do each page as you go along. All right, so finally go to the last page and you ask whether you want up to $10,000. Remember, there's an earlier question on one of the pages which I missed because I'm going so fast here, where it asks how many employees you have. They're currently paying based upon number of employees. So that is that. You know, I'm going to tell you right now that when the Streamline application went live in March and April, they did not tell the public that they were paying $1,000 per employee. Now viewers know that they're paying $1,000 per employee. What are they going to do to ensure that you really have the number of employees that you're indicating in the application? This is the federal government, so they have financial records that you file every year. If you don't think they do, then you're very, very wrong. So if you're an Uber or Lyft driver and you drive that car and you put in 12 employees, boy, God help you, because it's completely untrue, and they're going to be able to see it's untrue based upon your 2019 returns. Don't play games. You're going to be in big trouble. So then you get to the last page and you press submit. It's going to give you a number. Save that number, print the number, save the page, screen grab the page. When this channel launched, everyone's like, I can't get my number, I can't find my number, where's my number? Please copy it and make more than one copy. Finally, understand, it's called the Disaster Loan Assistance Program. So you're going to say, I only want the grant, I only want the loan, I don't want the grant money. I don't know what's going to happen. The current status is you have to go through the whole process and get the loan approved to get the grant money. If the loan is denied, you get the grant money. If you don't know this and it's new to this channel, I'll repeat it again. The current process is you have to go through the whole loan process. If the loan is denied, you can then ask for the grant money and you will get paid the grant money. You will receive a portal invite to get paid that grant money, $1,000 per employee. If you don't go through the loan process, you get no grant money. If you get approved for the loan, you also will get the grant money, but you have to ask for it. Those of you who are sort of jumping into comments that are new to this channel, welcome and thank you. But a lot of you have said, I don't want a loan, I just want a grant. Well, you have to go through the process. You can't tell SBA to change their processes for you. That's not the way it works. And when you say, I'm not asking for a loan, see what the first line of this page is? Disaster loan assistance. It does not say disaster grant assistance. So don't play coy with me and say, I want a grant, I don't want a loan. Well, yeah, you do want a grant, you're entitled to a grant, you will get a grant, but you have to go through the loan process. Please understand this is the process. Finally, how long we'll pay, how fast we'll pay, when we'll pay, and all that wonderful news, we're going to find out in shortly. So what I really ask of viewers of this channel who are new viewers who are applying for the new process, or existing viewers who are applying for their other businesses, and now I will cover that in the grant video later tonight. I want you to drop in the comments below what you did if you have any problems, but I also want to know what happens. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen when they start receiving your stuff. Am I going to be doing this will the processing time be 5 years? I'll be sitting here doing these videos forever? Or are they going to really process your loans and grants in 2-3 days? I mean, I really don't know. So I really, really ask you deeply to share as much information. Your sharing information helps not only this channel, but helps other viewers. As always, stay FLA for more.